Hey guys, what's up? It's Pastor Jimmy, and this is a little segment that we like to call Short and Sweet. And I got my notes right here, and I'm going to try to pull some highlights out of it for you. That is, just a few minutes instead of the entire 46 minutes. But if you have 46 minutes and you want to watch the whole thing, you can check it out on our Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. Either way, but if you're like, dude, I do not have time for that, then just check this out, the short and sweet. But when he walks into the room, and I talking about when I said I say he walks into the room, of course, talking about Jesus, big surprise. A pastor and a preacher, and at church, of course, we're going to talk about Jesus, no surprise there. But what happens when he walks into the room? And I spoke about in Luke chapter 4, where Jesus walked into synagogues. And, a lot of times we think when we're in the presence of God, when Jesus walks into the room, well, it's everybody's just real happy and everybody's all excited and, dancing and singing. And that happens a lot of times. But, sometimes people get angry when Jesus walks into the room. And we see that in Jesus' hometown of Nazareth. He walks into the synagogue and he starts teaching. And, it ends up where they're actually putting their hands on Jesus because they're mad, they're angry, and they not only throw him out of the synagogue, like that would be bad enough, but they take him to a cliff and they're like, we're throw him over the cliff. And it's pretty cool because in that story, it says that Jesus just walked past them. He's just like, all right, guys, I'm out of here. And they're getting ready to throw him over. And they're like, whoa, what happened? Oh, he just walked away. But then Jesus leaves Nazareth and he says, forget this. I'm going to Capernaum. He gets there. Jesus walks into the temple. He starts teaching. And this man that's in the synagogue, probably one of the members of the church, he probably goes there, put money in the offering, he stands up and he starts yelling. Why? Because he has an unclean spirit. He gets up, he causes disruption. The spirit's like, leave us alone, Jesus. What are you came here for? Did you come to destroy us? And Jesus just simply said, you can leave now. And just like that, the guy was delivered. See, sometimes when Jesus walks into the room, people get angry. Sometimes people get depressed. Why? But you're like, why would that happen? Well, it's because when Jesus walks into the room, he wants to set you free. So those things, those negative things, those things inside of us, they're trying to come to the surface. Why? Because Jesus wants to set us free. And a lot of times we don't understand that. We're just looking around while everybody else is worshiping and has their hands raised and waving flags or whatever. And we're like, what is wrong with me? Everybody else is so happy. And I'm just thinking about what so-and-so did to me last week. And we don't realize the presence of God is there. And because of that, those things inside of us are surfacing, coming to the surface so we can be set free. So my first point this past Sunday was when Jesus walks into the room, darkness has to flee. There's no room for darkness. Jesus is the light of the world, and darkness is just the absence of light. So when when Jesus walks in, the light, darkness is not welcome. Darkness has to leave. The second story I told was of this dude named Jairus. His daughter is ill, and he gets Jesus to come to his house. His daughter at this point, she's dead. Jesus comes in and everybody's crying, and Jesus is like, why is everybody sad? Why is everybody crying? And they're like, obviously the girl's dead. That's why. And Jesus is like, oh no, she's not dead. She's just sleeping. And at that moment, all the people sitting around weeping and mourning, they start laughing and they start mocking Jesus. And Jesus tells them, get out. The Passion Translation says he threw them out. I love that. He threw them out. A lot of times we're like, Jesus draws people in, but sometimes when Jesus walks into the room, he throws people out. You know, it's, hey, you can't be in here. You know why? Because they went from weeping and mourning, then now they're mocking Jesus. And Jesus is like, nope, you can't have it. And he throws them out. Then he takes Jairus and his wife and the 3 disciples that are with him. They go into the little girl's room, and he just says, little girl, wake up. The girl gets up. She don't only just get up. It's not like she gets up and goes, whoa, I had the craziest dream. She just get up and go, oh, I'm so tired. What happened? It says that she got up and she started walking around. Like, she just got up, started walking around. Like, I can see her, like, opening the door and like, Uncle Billy Bob, what are you doing outside? Like, well, that guy that came in, he kicked us out. You know, she got up, walked around like she wasn't even dead. So my second point is, when Jesus walks into the room, those things that are dead come back to life. But they don't only just come back to life. It's like they never were even dead. No signs of being dead. And I'm saying that because there's some of you that are watching this. There are things in your life you thought was dead. There was some visions that God has given you, some dreams that you have had, that you just thought there's no way now that it would ever happen. Those things are just dead. It's not going to happen. For some, maybe it's a marriage. Maybe it's a relationship with a child or a parent. And you're like, it's just hopeless. But when Jesus walks into the room, those things that were once dead, they come back to life, and it's like they were never dead. Like they were just always was alive. The third story that I shared this past Sunday was when Jesus, he cleared the temple. He comes to Jerusalem. There's a big festival going on, and Jesus walks in to the temple, and at this time, in the temple, they're doing some not really cool stuff. We'll just say that. A lot of times we don't really understand this passage that's found in Matthew 21. And, Jesus, he starts turning over tables. He starts throwing money. He's kicking bird cages. Relax. The birds were fine. Well, they were going to be sacrificed anyways, okay? But Jesus walks in, and a lot of times, like, we use this scripture to justify us getting mad. You know, it's like, man, you shouldn't be so angry. It's like, lay off of me. You know, Jesus got angry too, you know. And it's like, yeah, but Jesus, like, didn't curse me out and then start talking about me and stuff. You know, we got to see why did Jesus do this? You know, it's not like here in the temple, they were just like selling merch. That's merchandise. It's not like Jesus was mad because people were selling hats. No, they were selling salvation. They were selling forgiveness. It's like, hey, and at that time, the only way that you could right your wrong was by sacrifice. And they were selling these doves, and they were selling these pigeons. Like, doves was premium, but if you couldn't afford a dove, well, maybe you could buy a pigeon and sacrifice that. But they weren't only selling these things, they were like tripling the price. They were like charging like Disney prices. And Jesus comes in and he starts turning these over. And this is 2 weeks before the crucifixion. And what Jesus was doing, this was a symbol of what was to come. Because Jesus in 2 weeks was going to go to the cross, and he was going to change the entire system. No longer do you have to buy pigeons and doves and lambs to sacrifice, because Jesus was about to be the ultimate sacrifice. And now you don't have to pay for forgiveness, because he's already paid the price for forgiveness. Jesus, when he walks into the room, he changes everything. Everything.